Good morning, everyone. It's me, Shannon Fralish, and I'm here today to create my very first sample from the brand new 2020 Stampin' Up! Annual Catalog. I've gotten lots of feedback on the website after releasing my first unboxing video showing all the goodies that I got from the pre-order. And several people mentioned that they really liked the Many Mates stamp and die bundle. So here's the stamp set with all of the awesome sentiments, and then the dies look like this. It looks like the laser cut products that we had gotten recently, but we can make our own now using these awesome dies. So I'm going to use this die, and I have cut out white cardstock using this die, and this is what you get. It is a beautiful cut. There were lots of little pieces in here, but they were easy to just pop right out. Good smooth finishes. And so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to use this die as a stencil. So I'm going to warn you now, I've never made this card before, but I'm going to give it a try. So I hope you'll join me on this little experimentation. Okay, so again, I cut this out of white cardstock. I did spray a little bit of low tack adhesive on the back so that it will more readily adhere to a card base. So this is just a standard 11 by 4 1/4 card base scored at 5 1/2. What my plan is, I'm going to put this stencil on top of this card front, about like this. Tack it down. I'm going to use blender brushes and Coastal Cabana and crushed curry inks to ink blend over the top of this stencil. Okay, let's give that a try and see how we go. I'm going to start with Coastal Cabana, and my plan is to, these are brand new inks as well, my plan is to start here at the bottom, ink up this way on sort of on the diagonal with the Coastal Cabana, and then come down from this corner toward the center with the crushed curry. All right, so I'm going to give it a try. I've never used these inks and the blender brushes before, but I'm willing to give it a try. All right, so work with me here. It's always better, I think, to, I've made a couple little boo-boos there, but nothing. This is art, right? We can work with everything. I tap my brush on the ink, tap off a couple times, and then move forward with the blending. That way you avoid these kind of darker marks, but again, it's art, and we can work with it. Can any of you guess what may happen soon to the ink, to the colors? Think about it. Let's go back to our grade school class. And what's going to happen with yellow and blue? Okay, now I want to go back and kind of bring in a little bit more Coastal Cabana here, and then you'll really be able to see what I mean by the blending of yellow and blue. You can see how it's a little bit darker green toward the Coastal Cabana and a little bit more spring green when you get up here into the crushed curry. But you do get, you worked with two color inks, but you end up with 3 colors on your card here, on the stenciling. All right. I think that's pretty good, and I'm going to take the time to shut my ink pads because you know what will happen. Kerplunk will go my hand right into it. So I'm going to close this, So let's take a look at this, right? Coastal Cabana to here, crushed curry from the top down. It creates sort of a green band here in the center. Again, I used the die from Many Mates as a stencil, and now I'm going to remove the die, and let's see what we get. And that's what you get on the card base after I removed the stencil. And then this is what the stencil looks like that's been inked. So my plan is now I'm going to make 2 cards. This is a twofer, guys, a twofer. So my thought is then I've got another white base, just the same, you know, cut 11 by 4 1/4. And I think with this one, let's see, for this one, I think I'm going to adhere this stencil on, not the stencil, it's now a die cut. It's not a stencil anymore. I'm going to adhere this to the card front and create a birthday card with this one. All right, so I'm just going to move these out of the way. I might need the ink, but I'll move these out. Die. I'm going to just use some wet glue or whatever, liquid adhesive. I'm going to give it, because it has that a little bit of tack, right, from the spray adhesive that I used when it was the stencil, but now I want it to permanently stick. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add some glue to the back of this, just kind of choosing some of the larger areas and see what we know right here in the middle of these pretty medallions. There's place for glue. All right, pick this up with my tweezers and flop it over. We can do this. I'm going to center this on top of the card. All right. Move it over. And you'll see this die cut covers a card front. Look at that. Nice and simple. All right, we've got that, and I think what I'm going to do then is use. Let's see. I'm going to use the Many Mates. I'm going to take this out because I know that my lighting creates a glare on the front, so I'm going to use this Many Mates sentiment set. Birthday, so I think I'll use the happy birthday, obviously, and then for the additional sentiment, I'm going to use this calls for a huge celebration. All right, so I'm going to use these two. I think what I'll do, I think I'm going to mix it up. I think I'm going to put the smaller sentiment on the front, and I'm going to put the bigger happy birthday sentiment on the inside. So let me grab some black ink. I'm using my stamp positioner because I've just gotten so used to it. I love some kind of stamp positioner. It makes me feel more confident in my stamping. So I'm just, I don't know if you can see it, although I don't think you really need to see it. It's basic stamping. So right, I did it one time. It's a little bit light. So I'm just going to stamp again, and I can do that with a stamp positioner because it's all in one spot. Close the door and give it another inking, and it's nice and dark. All right, so what I'm going to do now, take this piece of cardstock that's been inked and cut it out using one of the dies from the Tasteful Touches bundle. Remember these dies? So this is a double notched flag that comes from this set. And it's really cool. I can see right now that it's got 2 lines of stitching plus the cut line as well. So I'm just going to lay it down here, and in one moment I'll be back with the flag. Okay, I'm back, and here is the sentiment here. This calls for a huge celebration. So I think I'm going to just make this very simple. I'm going to use a little bit of ribbon. I'll use some of the brand new In Color Bumblebee. I think that's pretty. and it's going to go to a young man. So I think what I'm going to do is create a knot instead of a bow. A little snip. There we go. I'll pop this up with dimensionals. All right. Yes, everything takes a little bit longer. Okay. Center this right about here. Use the lines on the die cut. This calls for a celebration. And then on the inside, I would like to use the happy birthday sentiment. So I'm just going to open up my card. Lay it inside of my stamp positioner. And I think we're going to go right about here. And as I'm doing this, I think I'm going to try something wacky. I think I'm going to close the door, pick up my stamp, and then I am going to, I was just going to do it in black, but I think I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to try something different. I'm going to try inking it with a little bit of, on the diagonal if I can, a little bit of yellow, and then a little bit of Coastal Cabana. A little bit of crushed curry, and then a little bit of Coastal Cabana. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can go there and see if I can get 3 colors out of this, all right? Again, eek, looking at that. All right, let's close the door and see what we get. There we go. So you see, you get a little bit of a variegated happy birthday with the 2 inks there. A little bit of green, the blue, and then the crushed curry up there. I like it. I think that's cool. And I think Daniel will like it as well. So that is my first card. We've got the Many Mates card front layer sized die that I used as a stencil first. And colored it in, ink blended it with Coastal Cabana crushed curry for that green center look there. A little bit of the brand new in color Bumblebee ribbon. And then the sentiment from Many Mates and the tag from the Tasteful Touches and Tasteful Labels dies. All right, and then on the inside, happy birthday. Okay, that's card 1. Let's go move on to card 2. Base that we created with the stencil, right? I laid the stencil on top and inked it and then removed the die cut. And this is what is left. So this is a flat front. I think I'm going to do a single layer card. And let me see. I think I'm going to use this Just Saying Hello sentiment. It's a nice, big, beautiful, scripty sentiment. And again, I'm going to use my stamp positioner, put my card front inside. And let's see, just want to make sure I got it right. Just Saying Hello. I want it right about here, kind of down in the corner there. Close the door on my stamp positioner. Now I want to look and see. I use my grid lines on my mat. And you can see clearly this is not going to be straight. So all I have to do is pop it up a little and press it back down. This time I'm going to use black so that it pops up on the color front, card front. And I'll shut the door. Boy, these little dimensionals. And it's kind of a fine line. So let's see, the script is sort of fine. So there you go. I think I'm going to ink it again. Give it another dose of the Tuxedo Black ink. There you go. You know what? I'm going to do it one more time. 3rd time's a charm, I hope. All right. There you go. That's nice. right. Move this out of the way. And there's that. I mean, it's just a super simple card. Let's see, you know what? I know it's not Coastal Cabana, but look at this. The Just Jade ribbon. It's kind of got, it's a little more, right? It's a little more green than blue, but wouldn't that be pretty? All right, I'm giving that a try. This is a on the fly card, kids. Let's see. All right, I'm back. Yes, I struggled a bit with the bow, so I went with the knot on this one as well. But I think what I will do is I'm going to add some of the brand new in color enamel dots here. I think I'm going to grab a couple of the jade ones. I like to work in threes or an odd number. I think we'll go one here. One, two, and one more. Just kind of tie, that way it kind of ties the use of the jade, Just Jade ribbon in as well. Goodness, it's a Monday, guys, it's a Monday. And all right, so there's this card. Now I'm going to bring back the birthday card. So 2 cards from one little project here. This one's using the die. This is the negative of the die, the stencil. This is a Just Saying Hello card, nice and simple. And then this calls for a huge celebration. Happy birthday. So 2 cards from that. Using again the Many Mates die as a stencil and then as an element, and then the stamp set Many Mates for the sentiments on this one, and then the sentiment on this card is from Tasteful Touches, Just Saying Hello. So thank you for spending way more time than you probably wanted to on these 2 easy cards, but I hope you get the idea of the fun, different techniques that you can use with these brand new stamp sets. Thank you again for joining me and have a great day.